This is Bellisimo. I am a life coach and a life transitions counselor. And today I wanted to just talk to you about how to navigate this time, because you may find that by looking at your life and you may feel impatient of wanting to get started with something new. But even in the past few months, you've been hitting these blocks. You feel like nothing's working. So this has been making you impatient. It's making you irritable. And now maybe you might be a little confused of what direction do I turn in. This can lead us to the feeling of being hopeless. But if you know how to navigate and see from what I call the eye of the heart, then you can understand your journey more. And understanding this journey, it's very important that you are creating something entirely differently than you have from your past. Because if you can only create from what you think you know or what you see, you'll create the same old thing. So click on the subscribe button and join me at bellisimo.com. So here we go into how do we navigate from the heart as opposed to navigating from our mind. If we can understand what it's like, and all of us can know what it's like navigating from the mind, we get divided, we get split. We start to see things of what we want, what we don't want. And then we don't know what we're looking at half the time. Coming near the end of the year, it's important that we, what I call, end our loops, complete our cycles, our incomplete cycles. Because last year we started on a journey, typically, making our resolutions. And some of these resolutions come from the space from where and what I don't want. And when you create from what you don't want, you get more of the same. You just go opposite. So you're swinging back and forth. But this time of year, it's important to do a review, to actually see in your space where the lies are, to see where you have been programmed out of your space, or maybe where you don't own and occupy your space fully. If we create with a lie in our space, our energy system will actually keep reflecting back to us the lie. It will show us in our life what isn't working. And typically, we will respond to this lie by seeing our life is falling apart. I don't know what to do. Now we're triggered, activated. Now we feel hopeless. And now we're continually in this cycle again and again. But if you know how to see from the eye of the heart, you're navigating in a very different way. You have an understanding of where you're at in space and time. Because the heart is about the now. The heart is how we unify and create from wholeness. So let's just talk a bit about kind of what is a lie. To me, when I'm looking at clients, I'm looking at, they give me their intention, they say what they want, and then they start to say what's come up that they don't want. And what they don't want is a reflection of where maybe somebody else's programming has been in their space. Maybe they accepted the belief that that wasn't theirs, it's not their energy, and they're trying to create with that. They're on a track where they got diverted. And what happens in a lie, a lot of times, it means that it's not in alignment. And when we're not in alignment, we can't grow, we can't thrive. And so our energy actually tries to help us out. It says, hey, you're not going down the right path. Look at the signs. But usually when we look from the mind, we're so externally focused, attention outward on the threats, on what we don't want. Maybe sometimes we're focused on what we want and so enthusiastic that we're just jump into it without really kind of looking at the whole view of it. And when we respond to things, that creates our reality. Our response creates the reality. So I invite you, especially at the end of the year, to really look at here, what cycles are we completing? What are the lies in my space? And whatever lies in our space, we're going to unwind them before they begin. Because we feel like we've put all this work in, we've gotten so close, but when you hit a block and you can't get past that block, there's something that you need to let go of. There's something that you need to release within your space. Because a lot of times we listen maybe to people, we're looking at things, and our survival response is triggering us, and we're deceived. There's a lie. And a lot of times, maybe even in the past week, a lot of unconscious energies have come up where we see the truth. Maybe somebody was lying, we were tricked, or maybe we made a decision about our lives because we were coming from pain. For example, a client was saying that, they moved to a foreign country because in their country and in their family system, they did not have love. They never had that family foundation. So they moved to a country where everyone's warm and friendly, but it appears that it's loving, but it was really the opposite. And then their response to that is they did not feel seen, heard, acknowledged. When there was a lie in the space, we make our decisions typically based on the wrong thing. So here we have this choice point now where we're looking at what we want, what we don't want, and we're trying to make a decision. But I want you to understand that a lot of times that what the mind thinks it wants, and it seems good, it isn't really that great. It appears to be warm and fuzzy, but it's not that great. What we want to understand is, okay, where is the lie within our space? Now, how you know there's a lie, and this is important because this gives you a framework of understanding, okay, what am I really looking at? Because it's hard for people to see what's going on. Is this person lying to me or are they not? First, just even ask the question, is there a lie in the space? Second, you'll understand if there is a lie because now you feel divided. If you have even maybe an opinion about yourself, like other people are doing so well and I'm not doing well. If you compare yourself, if you see yourself as amazing and other people not so great, there is a divide. Anytime you find a divide, now we know there's a lie in the space. What a picture will do, and what I'm calling a picture, pictures can be our truth. They can be connected to God, connected to the planet, like our energy, but we can also have, lies in our space, other people's pictures. And other people's pictures don't work in our space. And if that is the case, what will happen is it's like a break in a film where the film gets cut in a certain part and then it just starts to spin. And then we never can have that traction. We can't find our way. Now, when we start to spin, what happens is now we're divided. The energy can't move because to move energy, you need actually a positive and a negative. And if we're super positive, now we don't have the fuel to move the cycle. So I'm going on too much. Let's see, stop. Hey, this is Bellisimo. I am a life coach and a life transitions specialist. And so in this time of life transitions, you may be feeling overwhelmed. You may be feeling exhausted, and maybe you don't know why. You may be feeling depressed. I was talking to a client earlier, and they felt like they were dying. They felt so sad and depressed. They felt like no one liked them. A lot of times we have these opinions and we don't know why we feel them. It's just an energy passing through. But I'm going to give you some tools today it's a framework that you can understand what is happening. My system is called the EnergyWorks method, and you can find me at bellisimo.com. Please subscribe. But it gives you the ability to see from wholeness, because most people see from a divided mind or from what we want and don't want. And if we're looking Now we're not really seeing from the whole. And how we see is how we create. And if we're creating from only one side, now we're missing the other side, which doesn't move energy. And ultimately, we are looking to clear the lies within our space in order to have access to our God-given right, our birthright from God, of being filled with the light, being connected to the planet, the embodiment of how energy moves. So let's talk a minute about kind of the lies in our space. We are headed right into the end of the year. And in the ending of the year, in November especially, it is the Day of the Dead, the souls, and it's very important that since the veil is thin, that we are acknowledging our genetic line, the souls that have come before us. Why this is important is because they impact the way we feel. How you know this is because maybe you've had, your back is hurt. You're not feeling that great. A lot of emotional things are coming up. Physical things are coming up. If you have physical or psychological things and you find that now you need, to drink a lot or go into some addiction, know that it isn't just coming out of the blue. Know that this time of year, this is what impacts us, the veil being thin. So if we can acknowledge that, we can actually help even ourselves and our ancestors take their next step. Because in understanding, I'm going to stop this recording. This is Kim Bellisimo, and I am a life coach. My master's degree is in life transitions counseling. Today, I'd like to talk to you about navigating the end of the year. There's been a lot of intense energy, and to know how to navigate kind of from wholeness, you have to drop into what I call the eye of the heart. This way you can see from wholeness as opposed to from the mind. It's important because we may all feel, especially in this time, that we have to make decisions. We feel impatient or frustrated because why isn't our new life started? And with this frustration, our response to things not moving forward, we're going to create with that energy. And it's a pivotal point right now. And to understand actually how to see, you have to drop into the heart. And by dropping into the heart sees in a very different way than the mind. So let's just talk about first the mind and how the mind sees. If there is something in your life where you've hit a block, where things don't work, where maybe you have pain in your space, it is a part of where you do not exist. If you don't exist, it is because somebody didn't view you, acknowledge you, see you, or maybe where there wasn't love, where you weren't acknowledged. If you're not seen, sometimes we cannot activate. We don't have the light. In order to turn the light on within ourselves, we need God and we need the planet. By having that, our energy starts to move, it starts to spin. And now things just naturally flow and grow. So we're going to have an opportunity today to just look at a framework that can help you navigate the end of the time. And please press the button, subscribe, and join me too for my classes at kimblissimo.com. We're going to talk about pictures, what pictures are. Pictures are how we see the world. It's like taking a snapshot in a camera. We're looking at pictures of what we like. We look at pictures of what we don't like. And it's our response to these pictures that create our reality. But how do we see? I want you to think about, what do you look at? Mainly what you want, what you don't want. What's your response to that? Our response then, how we feel, the feeling, maybe we are in resistance to our feeling if we're looking at what we don't want, because we think our reality isn't going to happen, or we have to have this high vibration. But that's not necessarily the case. When you have a lie within your space, know that your feedback loop of the external reality will always reflect it to you. It's actually your internal guide. It's letting you know, hey, you've got a lie in your space, or you've turned down the wrong path, and turn around. And you'll see this because we'll start to see things that we don't want. And when we see things that we don't want, look at your response. Oh, my life is falling apart. Nothing works for me. Everyone else gets things and I don't get things. But that's not true. It is our own internal energy that's saying, hey, just slow down, drop in your heart, get out of your mind. Because when we are in our mind, we have tunnel vision. We're not really seeing things from wholeness. We're looking at one thing. And now we're feeling stressed. And because of that, now we grab onto it and we won't let go. And if we don't let go of a picture or something that we want or something that we're attached to, maybe it is a relationship. Maybe it is this job. Maybe it's just, I need this money. And if I have this, then my life is going to be fine. That you put something before it happens. But this is attachment. And so that is a lie within our space. Because when we are connected, when we are grounded, now we have unlimited flow. When we're allowing God to fill us up and know that that is your source, when you are connected to your source, you become the embodiment of the light within you, the manifestation, the Christ in you. And by acknowledging that that is alignment, and that alignment thing starts to shift, it starts to move. It's just like turning on the lights. But most of us find that we've had people look at us, we've heard things, we've listened to things, our attention goes to what we don't want or what we want, and now we've created with these programs in our space that are lies. So identify the lies in your space. And you'll know the lies because they'll keep getting reflected to you. Now watch your response. And if you're responding, reacting, triggered, now we're disassociating. Now we're addicted to something because of the pain. And the pain means, hey, signaling you to drop in. Sources within, energy within. Now what happens though, and I want you to follow the trail. Typically, there is a picture we're looking for of where we believed a lie and where there is a liar around us or where we're lying to ourselves. The second thing is, there's a lie in the space because somebody I was talking to even earlier today was thinking, people don't like me. Well, that's the lie because they were telling themselves, I don't ask the right questions. People are judging me. They're separating, divided. A divide means that other people are doing great and I'm not doing great. Now, notice if you see the world that way, thinking that everyone else has it and you don't, divided. When we're divided, we see ourselves on a side. If we're on a side, it means we're in a lie. It means that we're in the mind. And that's not a problem, but understand that is not how we move energy. The mind just puts you on that side. And if you're on one side, you actually have set yourself up for somebody else to go on the opposing side. And then we start to view our life from that one side. It's only one perspective, but it's not the perspective of the heart. Then what you're going to look at is when we're on one side, we feel disconnected. And that disconnection, now we don't know what to do. We don't know what to look at. And look in your life right now with finances, in relationship, maybe with health. Where do I move forward? You have all these random pictures. If there's more than 2 pictures, chaos happens. And because our attention is diverted, we're trying to grasp here, there. And by doing that, we're easily thrown off track. And we're looking at the wrong thing. We're looking in the external world, thinking that if you want love, you'll get love by that person. And if they only gave love to you, now you would feel whole and complete. And when they do give attention to you, you feel great. But when they don't, you feel upset. Or maybe if only something would sell, or if you got this job, then you'd be happy. You're coming at it from a divided place. So based on the divide, we usually then make a decision and we're diverted, attention. And when our attention goes out, now we're looking at threats and we're making decisions based on something that we don't want. So if we're making a decision and we're hyper-focused, we're not relaxed, we're not within our space. We're not really looking in the vertical, which I call God and the planet. And when we're not looking at that vertical, now we're growing sideways. And when then the next step is, if we don't know where to look at, chaos is happening. It's like my book, From Chaos to Creativity. Not knowing what to do, now we're easily programmed. Now, where we typically end is where we feel desolate. We feel deflated, feeling isolated, feeling alone, feeling like no one loves us. This is the trail we'll always end up. And that's when you know there's a lie in your space. There's energies that want you to feel like you're all alone. Because if you feel all alone, you don't feel like you have support or are loved. But the truth is that you do. The truth is that when you look to God, God loves you. You're filled. You start to experience the light. It's as easy as looking at the dark and feeling alone because you don't know what you're looking at. And when you're looking at the light, now you start to get filled up. The energy starts to move. But from the eye of the heart is what my method is about. Because when you start to see from the eye of the heart, it's a very different space of looking. Because we don't eliminate what the mind does. The mind divides. The mind, what we want, what we don't want. It looks at the future, the past. These are all viewpoints of a particular kind of view of looking at something. But the heart knows how to see all things. It sees from wholeness. When you focus your attention, and that's just even placing your attention in the eye of the heart, and I imagine it is this green heart. When you focus there, now it is the unknown. Truly, the emerald, the diamond, is the unknown. Then you are looking at something beyond what you know. You are looking at what God is going to give you, your intention, but beyond what you know, your intention could be. The space in between, you can't see what it is, but this is the space you can trust. This is a space that you can really ground into. It is a space that you can just relax in. When you place your attention there, it unifies all things. You're seeing from wholeness. By even focusing your attention there, everything just starts to create synchronicity and flow. And by placing your attention there, things start to move and spin, and you start to create from the diamond within. So learn about my EnergyWorks technique. Call me for a session, Bellisimo.com. And just imagine that green eye, seeing from wholeness, and ask your heart what it wants to create. And you will get beyond what you know. So sending you so much love. Blessings.